Yeah?
You know when you make a perfect burger, you've got all the ingredients, everything is layered out perfectly. Well, the Commando in Hogs of War is the meat, the patty. It is the main portion in between the grease-soaked bun and the cheese above you. In essence, it is the middle guy, the stepping stone between the highest rank you can be as the main classes in the game and the hero, who, as we know, is the highest playable class in the vanilla version of the game. Visually, the Commando is the most diverse in terms of design compared to the base 4 classes. However, many of you will of course know that the Paratrooper in multiplayer appears to be completely identical. This is the case for the PC version, not for the PlayStation version, because on that version of the game, the Paratrooper has a coloured ski mask and gloves that match their team colour, which is pretty funky. With a base health of 130 and a full range arsenal, the Commando seems to embody all of the classes in one. You have the long range capabilities of the heavy weapons class of the bazooka and the airburst, the accuracy and additional abilities of the espionage class with the sniper rifle and the hide, the explosive power of the engineer with the TNT, and of course the healing ability of the medic with the medical darts. There are of course some extras kind of thrown in there, including more of the high power explosives of the cluster bomb. You've got some ability range in there with the jetpack, and of course you have some short range quick damage of the machine gun. All round it is indeed a good egg, but the only real weakness I can see with this character is it being a one-hit wonder, and what I mean by that is that a large percentage of its weaponry can only be used once, so once all of those resources are depleted, the player then must rely on a select few choices. Not to say that these weapons aren't effective, but from the player's perspective it can get pretty mundane. Nevertheless though, the strengths of this character do outweigh its negatives. The key I find to be is the additional healing ability. Having a pig who can heal teammates and deal damage is a huge plus for any player, and can, a chunky percentage of the time, ensure victory. Just as with any game we see in today's world, the medic is the most important character. Yeah, well, the Commando wasn't always a well-rounded character, so let's cast our minds back to 1999, where we see the first major instance of this pig. But which one is it? Is it the one with the coloured ski mask, or the black ski mask? Well, you'd think that the pig with the black ski mask that looks like the present-day Commando, as well as performing the animation that is only used on the higher-ranked pigs, would be the Commando, right?
No!
Nah mate, afraid not. Turns out it's actually the coloured ski mask pig, which is pretty weird, especially when you look at that weird flick of hair that he's got. Crazy. So in the early version, the real Commando and what I'm currently going to call the fake Commando, because that's all he is, piece of shit, certainly had plenty of weapons, many of which you will of course recognise, and others that I have absolutely just no idea what they are, but I'm sure that some of you could of course hazard a guess at what they could be. But progressing later into the game's development, and as you can see, the Commando is still seen as having a coloured ski mask and gloves. You can also see that the character's symbol has been implemented, and it is of course worth noting at this time, or somewhere around this time, the Commando was only accessible through the career path of the heavy weapons class, and it boasted a hefty 150 HP and was just packed to the brim with a ridiculous stockpile of weapons that the Commando, it just made him invincible. Of course, at this point in the game's production, the default max health for all classes was 100 and above, meaning that most games would last much longer than they are today. That is perhaps the main reason as to why the ammo supply is huge and the player has a much heavier stockpile. It just enables them to get through those longer games. Most notably, of course, is the Super Airburst, which, alongside causing big ass frame drops in my game, still inflicted large amounts of damage onto the enemy. But, you know, I'm glad that the devs never went along with the huge health pools, just because the game felt like really slow, and to be honest, it was quite boring to play. But as we know from today's game, you are still able to set the pig's health to double in the options, and allows you just to have lengthier games if you want to have them play out like that. And to be fair, I always go ahead, set the pig's health to double, set a 4-player multiplayer on my own, because I have no friends and my life is everyday torture. So what's my opinion on this character? Well, the Commando is the perfect stepping stone into the upper reaches of this game. It progresses you further and equips you with a mixture of what really makes each class good and skillful. Would the older version of this class work today though?
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
Nah, it will be way too powerful, especially when you compare it to the higher classes of the hero and the legend. The extra ammo alone is just a scary thought, to be honest. As we've said, from the game it is today, the Commando suffers just like the hero with the inevitability of running out of weapons and relying on a select few. All in all, however, once you reach the stage of Commando, you'll be enjoying the simple fact that you run faster than everybody else. Overall though guys, that's pretty much going to wrap everything up. I hope you enjoyed the video and hopefully learned a little something about the development of the Commando. I do of course plan to make more of these kind of videos. This sort of who was this character type series will continue going forward, as well as a deeper look into certain weapons and different bits and pieces from Hogs of War. But what are your thoughts on this character? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get a little chat going about this pig Commando dude. And in the meantime, I shall catch you guys later for the next one.